really excited with some of the choices that we're going to bring to them. So, right, nothing is set in stone yet, but we're just kind of introducing some of the ideas that we've come up with and some of the people we've kind of started speaking with. So, this is a very early meeting, but we are all very excited. Okay. Okay, I have to go. Yeah, I'm starting to fill on in, so, okay, I will talk to you after the meeting. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. How are you today? Wonderful. So, I'm very excited to have you here with us. We have been working behind the scenes for several months now, starting to piece together everything for this project. Okay, so as you know, we are still fairly early on into this film. And the core part of this film is about ASMR. ASMR, yes. It's been quite the thing on YouTube for quite some time. Yes, and it's growing and growing into more media outlets and things of that nature. So we have jumped on board and are going to start to make the ASMR film, if you will. Exactly. Now we are still playing around with scripts and outlines, exactly what type of movie this is going to be. We have kind of talked to a couple different directors, but this is really just our core team that you've been working with both in person and, online or over the phone. Yes, we've spoken several times on the phone, I'm sure you remember. Yeah. So we are still very early on. But because this is a bigger project, it's going to have so many people, characters, and or people to cast. We wanted to introduce some potential casting for this ASMR movie, for some of the ASMRtist roles. Exactly, and realistically, we are not going to be ready to film, or the script won't even be ready within this year, probably next year, most likely, yes. But because this is a new idea, we definitely want to make sure we get the casting right. So these are some of the people that we've selected to potentially play some of these ASMR artists, as they call it. Now we have spoken with some of these people, some of their agents, and so on. And once again, nothing is set in stone, but these are just some potential ideas that we wanted to run by the studio to see what you guys are thinking. We are really close to finalizing a director. This whole project has kind of been my baby, if you will, but I'm taking more of a producer type role, if you will. But I have worked with this director before, and they have approved the idea of some of this casting as well. So we really just kind of want to have everyone on the same page, whether it be kind of us behind the scenes, in the front, and of course you at the studio. Okay, so just pull up here. Now we've set up some visual for you so that you are able to see the ASMR artist and the potential casting for that ASMR artist. Alright, now as I said, this is going to be quite a huge film. These are just the starting points that we've kind of collected and decided on, but we have a list of potential other ASMR artists to cast for this movie, and then the ASMR community is growing every day. So we have the potential to make that list even longer or make those cuts depending on how the film is going to play out. Okay? Alright, so let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I think it's 14. We really just want to see what your opinion is on some of these potential casting. Okay. Yes, we have 14 kind of selected, and then I will go over some of the other potential names, but this is still very early on and it's quite a big project, so please bear with me. Good. Yes, you were very understanding when you kind of accepted this whole project, and we are very appreciative of that, so thank you. Alright, okay, so I'm just going to go through some of these. I will say that currently this list of 14 here is overwhelmingly female, so we are going to try and work in some more male ASMR artists. Yeah, okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that. But let's go ahead and start with, alright, so we have ASMR Counting Sheep. Okay, so we have her on this first 14 list, and for that potential casting we have placed her with Laura Dern. Of course, yeah. We just wanted you to have the visual so you can kind of see what we're getting at on the behind the scenes, on some of the planning and whatnot. So kind of can see ASMR Counting Sheep versus Laura Dern, and you know what your opinion is. This is a lot of these actors and actresses are extremely talented, so we have lots of faith in their performance, and we also want them to resemble each ASMR artist. So that's kind of what we've been going with, you know, the talent, and of course the resemblance is always important for the viewer. So we have the first one with Counting Sheep and Laura Dern. And what do we think of that one? Great. Moving along. Alright, we have Lunanate ASMR. Okay. And for this, we have been talking about Bethany Joy Lenz. She did quite a run on the show One Tree Hill, and has done several different Christmas movies and other like Hallmark movies. But their resemblance has been kind of the talk around here, as well as just something about them, how they say their words, how they present themselves. There's mannerisms that are very similar between the two, so we have kind of put Lunanate with Bethany Joy Lenz, or Joy Lenz as she goes by. Okay, so what do we think about that? Okay. Next we have Brittany ASMR, and for her we have Catherine Prescott. Okay. Some of us had referenced her from a TV show, Finding Carter, I believe it was. So we've kind of placed her with Brittany there. So Brittany ASMR, Catherine Prescott, what do we think of that? Okay. We have Whispers Unicorn. And And for that, we have put the potential of Kimberly J. Brown. Yeah. Well, she's done several different movies. Some of us, depending on if you're around my age, may remember her from Halloween Town. Yeah. Okay, so we have Whispers Unicorn and Kimberly J. Brown. What do we think about that? Okay, and we are trying to make it a point to ASMR has been around for several years, so we're trying to get a mix of people that are veterans to the community, if you will, and some in the middle, and some newbies. So this first 14 is kind of a little bit of a mix, but then we have an even longer list of even more potential ASMR artists to include in this film, so we are trying to get a mix. Yes, we definitely want the actors, if they are interested in the role, if they understand the role, to understand what ASMR is, autonomous sensory meridian response, and kind of why it has been the craze on YouTube, or the benefits to it, if you will. Because, I mean, essentially, while the script isn't completed, our outlines and kind of storyboards are hinting at the idea of showing each ASMR artist's experience with ASMR, or how they found it, how they started making videos. That type of movie is what we are going for. And so it will have lots of different storylines. Each person and or ASMR artist is going to be quite different with their backstory. And we definitely want the actors to understand that. Okay. Alright. We have Olivia Kisper. Okay. And we have selected Emily VanCamp. Yes, this is another one that looks similar, and some of their mannerisms we have kind of thought that they were a good fit, if you will. So Olivia Kisper and Emily VanCamp. Okay. And we have Yvette ASMR. And for that, we have selected Sarah Bulger. Once again, this is, we want the actors to have a similar look to the original creator, and also have some of those similar mannerisms, that they are accurate to that person and that creator's life. And so, you know, just the look, mannerisms, things like that. We are taking all of those things into account when we are starting out this list. And as I said, none of these names are set in stone. This is just kind of our first go. And some of these actors are interested, and some of them we are still getting in touch with their agents and so on. Okay, so Yvette ASMR, Sarah Bulger. Okay. We have ASMR requests and Kirsten Dunst. Okay. Some of these people do have a following, and we did take that into consideration reading through comments. Viewers are very important. Some of those viewers will be seeing this film, so with casting wise, we did take into consideration the comments that suggest that certain creators look like certain people. Yes. For ASMR requests specifically, she did do a video inspired by a Kirsten Dunst role, and when she kind of put that character together, that's kind of when we noticed that, wow, they look quite a bit alike. Okay, so ASMR requests and first done. Okay. Next up, we have Fred's voice. And for this, we have paired him up with Chris Hemsworth, of course. Many people like to think that he is a lost Hemsworth brother, myself included. And he has proved his talent with that, with some Thor role plays within the ASMR community. So we have definitely put Chris Hemsworth there on that list. Yes, he is much more closer, I would say, with mannerisms and just overall appearance and performance, closer to Chris Hemsworth than Liam Hemsworth. Okay, so Fred's voice with Chris Hemsworth. Okay. Good. Okay. And then we have GB ASMR, and this one took us a little bit, and we actually kind of did a little bit of hunting for it, so once again, not set in stone. But for GB, we have Lexi Holm right now. Just kind of a similar appearance. Right. Okay. Yeah, and we can kind of, mark question marks with these. We haven't spoken with everyone. This is just a great starting point for us, and if anything, we can have a kind of a visual of some of these actors within the roles. Okay, so GB, ASMR, Lexi Holm. Okay. Then we have gentle whispering. And for this, we have actually selected Anna Paquin. Yes, this was one of my selections as well. I've always seen a similarity between them, whether that be outward appearance or performance mannerisms, way they present themselves exactly. So currently we have the suggestion of gentle whispering and Anna Paquin. And Anna Paquin has been in a lot of different things. She was in True Blood Forever with Sookie Stackhouse. She's been in the X-Men movies as Rogue. Yes, and I've seen her in a lot of other movies and so on. So, okay. Okay, so gentle whispering, Anna Paquin. Okay. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more in this first little list here. Thank you for being so patient. Soul Repose ASMR. We have selected Lana Parella. And this is another one that just kind of jumped out at us, the similarities between kind of their looks and mannerisms and whatnot. You may know Lana from on Once Upon a Time. She was Regina Mills and or the Evil Queen. And some of her performances through that and some of the shows that she's done before and after that, just potentially think that she would be a nice selection for Soul Repose ASMR. Okay, so Soul Repose, Lana Parella. And the White Rabbit ASMR. Now, she's a bit of a chameleon. I feel like she can pull off a lot of different looks in her role plays, depending on the character or the role that she is trying to fulfill. But a lot of us kind of see a bit of like a Kendall Jenner look to her. Now, we're not entirely sure if we're going to fully go with that. Kendall Jenner she's not exactly an actress. She mostly does the modeling, of course. But just as a starting point, we do kind of see a Kendall Jenner aspect to the White Rabbit ASMR. Yes, exactly. So that's kind of what we've been going with. She has proved herself to be familiar with that family. She's done some fantastic Kardashian Jenner role plays, and specifically Kim Kardashian. So, yeah, I don't think it would be that far of a stretch, but we would just have to kind of take into consideration Kendall's performance and whatnot, okay? Okay, so the White Rabbit ASMR, Kendall Jenner. We have Laura Leomorix ASMR, and for that we have Ivana Lynch. This is another one that's just came to our minds immediately. They kind of have a similar look to them, similar way that they hold themselves. Yes, she most popular played Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter series. Okay, so Laura Limericks, Ivana Lynch. Okay. Now, this 14 one here in this first list that I have for the casting, we don't actually have a selected person, an actor per se, simply because it was more of an inspiration. It would be like the Dr. Andrew Michaels. He does a lot of fantastic role plays under that character of Dr. Andrew Michaels, and a lot of us here behind the scenes immediately went to John Candy, probably because a lot of us love his Uncle Buck role play. Yes, so then the ASMR community, but sadly, John Candy is not with us anymore. So we want to potentially have an inspiration of John Candy and, exactly, kind of bring the ASMR creator and that bit of an actor together to make the performance accurate to Dr. Andrew Michaels. Yeah, if you haven't seen his Uncle Buck video, you should definitely check it out. He does John Candy justice for sure. Okay, so Dr. Michaels, John Candy, the inspiration, I should say. Good. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that's the first 14 that we are working with. Thoughts, opinions? Okay, good. Good. Yes, as I said, we have contacted some of these actors, agents, to start the process. We would rather start it now than wait till last minute, of course. That's kind of what this meeting is for, to get the ball rolling, if you will. Okay, so if you don't mind, I also have a pretty lengthy list of some other ASM artists that we are possibly looking to cast as well. Okay. Perfect. So if you can just go ahead and tell me if you are interested. So we are also looking to cast Angelica, ASMR Alyssa, ASMR Joni, Power of Sound, ASMR Shani, Tingle Play, ASMR Weekly, ASMR Kitten, Callum, Coconut's Whisper, Crinkle 11, let's see, Elo ASMR, Fairy Jar, Free Spirit, Infinitely ASMR, Jellybean Green, Karuna Satori, Latte ASMR, Little Clover Whispers, Massage ASMR, Mike Bryant, Minx Laura 123, Nebula ASMR, Oopsie Daisy ASMR, okay, Queen of Serene, Relax for a While, River ASMR, Scottish Murmurs, Slight Sounds, Sophie Michelle, we have Ting Ting, Victorious ASMR, Visual Sounds, Whisper Audios, and Whispers Red. Okay, so there are thousands of other ASMR artists as well, so please keep that in mind. But what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So with that additional list, it would be about 35 other castings that we would be looking at and that we would get started on right away. We are also not opposed to lesser known actors and actresses. Yes, we will. We may have like more of an open casting call for some of these potentially as we progress further into this project. We'll see when that will take place and, see if we can find the right fit. If we find someone that is absolutely perfect for a particular ASMR artist role, it doesn't really matter their resume if they are perfect for the role and their performance is going to do it justice. Okay? Okay. So, yes, that's something that we are taking into consideration as well. That we had said the look, the mannerisms, the performance, how they hold themselves, how they say lines, all of it needs to be very close with the original content creator, the original ASMR artist. But a lot of these ASMR artists are going to have different accents, dialects, the way that they word things, so that's definitely going to be taken into consideration. Let's see, for instance, Gentle Whispering speaks both English and Russian, so we would have to take that into consideration and slight accents within her words. The same could be said. Let me see here. Like Fred's voice, he obviously has an accent. At least to us in America, he has an accent. It kind of depends on where you are in the world. And then, we have different accents, and then there's people that are bilingual and they have different ways of phrasing things. So all of those things are going to be taken into consideration to make it as closely accurate to the original ASMR artist as possible. Okay, do you have any other questions for me? Okay, of course, I can send you a copy. Let me just remind myself of both lists of the potential casting and the ones that we want to still cast. And if you're interested, of course, it's our job, but if there are any specific ASMR artists that maybe you yourself watch on YouTube or online, just let us know, and we can definitely look into their channel and see about casting as well. Okay. So, I think that is all I needed for this first meeting. We will, of course, be in touch as we further move things. We should finalize that director next week. And then we have been working with a casting director as well, myself and my team. And so myself, my group, casting director, the concrete director will kind of work to finalize this casting list with your approval, of course. And the script writers are really working on how to make it very cohesive and understandable, considering there will be multiple storylines throughout this film. And kind of how all they can merge together and whatnot. So, yes, it's very exciting, and I'm so glad that you're a part of this journey with us. Yes, thank you so much for meeting with me today. All right, of course. You take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.